He was the silent guardian, the franchise player, and the man built up for over a year as the savior of World Championship Wrestling. His name was Sting, and he was on the verge of finishing one of the most iconic, perfectly paced storylines in professional wrestling history. For 18 months, fans watched him transform from a beloved, colorful hero into a mysterious avenger, the one man who could finally stand up to the New World Order and its leader, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. The stage was set for Starrcade 1997, the highest-grossing pay-per-view in WCW history, for a match of the century that would see good finally triumph over evil. So, how did one of the most anticipated matches of all time become a catastrophic failure that signaled the beginning of the end for WCW? This is the story of how backstage politics and one disastrous decision torpedoed the biggest angle in wrestling history and betrayed the company's most loyal star. Before the black trench coat and the ghostly face paint, Sting was WCW. They called him the franchise, the ultimate homegrown hero who had been with the company and its predecessor, Jim Crockett Promotions, since 1987. For 14 years, he was the constant, the one top-tier talent who never jumped ship to the competition. While others came and went, Sting stayed, making more pay-per-view appearances than any other wrestler in the company's history. He wasn't just loyal, he was a proven champion and a reliable draw. He captured his first world title from the legendary Ric Flair and won championships against icons like stunning Steve Austin. By the mid-90s, with his colorful face paint and high-energy style, Sting was WCW's vibrant answer to the larger-than-life characters of the WWF. He was the hero kids looked up to and the warrior adults respected. He had given his blood, sweat, and tears to WCW, and the fans loved him for it. But that loyalty was about to be tested in a way nobody saw coming. The summer of 1996 changed everything. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, two major stars from the WWF, showed up in WCW and declared war. The invasion angle was hot, but it went nuclear at Bash at the Beach 1996 when Hulk Hogan, the biggest good guy in wrestling history, turned his back on the fans and joined the invaders. The New World Order, the NWO, was born. Made up mostly of ex-WWF stars, the NWO storyline positioned them as an outside force trying to destroy WCW from within. In the middle of all that chaos, the NWO did something brilliant. They brought in a fake imposter Sting, which sowed distrust among WCW's top guys. At Fall Brawl, WCW's stars, including Sting's best friend Lex Luger, were tricked into thinking their franchise player had betrayed them. The next night on Monday Nitro, an Sting came to the ring. He told the fans, his friends, and the commentators that even though he poured his life into WCW, their doubt had wounded him. In a now legendary promo, he declared himself a free agent, saying he would pop in when least expected before dropping the mic and walking out. The mind games had worked. WCW's greatest soldier was taken off the board, not by a beatdown, but by a deep sense of betrayal. For over a month, Sting vanished. Then, on October 21st, 1996, he returned. But this wasn't the colorful, energetic Stinger of old. He descended from the rafters, dressed in black, his face painted a ghostly white with black markings, a look inspired by the film The Crow. He didn't say a word. He just hit the ring, took out the NWO's fake Sting, and stared down Hogan and his crew. This kicked off one of the most compelling character transformations in wrestling. For almost 18 months, Sting didn't wrestle a single match. He became a silent, mysterious vigilante, a phantom who haunted WCW arenas from the rafters. Week after week, he'd descend from the ceiling with his signature black baseball bat to stop an NWO attack, to test the loyalty of a WCW wrestler, or just to play mind games with Hollywood Hogan. He never spoke. He didn't have to. Every appearance, every stare, every point of the bat told the story. This new Dark Avenger became the single most popular character in wrestling, helping WCW dominate the Monday Night Wars. Fans were desperate to see their hero finally get his hands on Hogan, and the anticipation built for over a year, leading to the inevitable showdown at Starrcade 1997. December 28th, 1997. Starrcade. The night that should have been WCW's crowning achievement. After a year and a half of perfect storytelling, Sting, the avenging angel of WCW, finally got his one-on-one match with Hollywood Hogan for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was the biggest match in company history, and it had the simplest, most logical ending. Sting had to dominate Hogan and win the title clean, paying off the entire 18-month journey. Instead, what we got was a convoluted, nonsensical mess fueled by backstage politics. Hogan, reportedly using his creative control, made sure he wouldn't look weak. The match itself was a letdown, with Hogan controlling most of it. Then came the finish. Hogan hit his leg drop, and the referee, Nick Patrick, made the 3 count. The plan was for Patrick to make a fast count, giving the newly debuted Bret Hart, famous for being screwed by a referee himself, a reason to come out and restart the match. But here's the thing. Nick Patrick didn't count fast. He made a normal speed 3 count. Hogan had seemingly won clean. Bret Hart stormed the ring anyway, claiming a fast count that clearly wasn't, and ordered the match to restart. What followed was a confusing scene where Sting locked Hogan in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Hart immediately called for the bell, awarding the title to Sting. The moment that should have been Sting's triumphant coronation was ruined. The victory felt hollow, confusing, and cheap. And to make matters worse, the championship was vacated just days later because of the controversy, making the whole payoff feel completely pointless. The greatest storyline in WCW history had ended not with a bang, but with a bizarre, overbooked whimper. The botched finish at Starrcade 97 wasn't just one bad creative decision. It was a symptom of a much larger disease in WCW. It was the moment the company's incredible momentum hit a brick wall. The aura of invincibility and mystique that had been so carefully built around the Crow character was shattered. Sting did eventually win the title back at Super Brawl in February, but the magic was gone. Worse, his character was soon watered down. In 1998, the NWO split into 2 factions, and Sting joined the good guy Wolfpack version, trading his iconic black and white for red and black and becoming more vocal again. While it was popular, it felt like a step down from the silent guardian he had been. The man who was once the singular force against the NWO was now just another member of a spin-off group. The company he was supposed to save continued its decline, running the NWO storyline into the ground and descending into creative chaos. A chaos best summed up by the decision to eventually put the World Championship on head writer Vince Russo. The single greatest opportunity to create an undisputed top star and end the NWO saga had been squandered, and WCW would never truly recover. On the final episode of WCW Monday Nitro in March 2001, it was fitting that Sting wrestled Ric Flair in the show's last ever match. It was a poignant end for the man who had been the company's most loyal soldier. WCW had promised Sting everything. They made him the franchise, built an unforgettable character around him, and crafted a near-perfect 18-month story designed to make him the conquering hero who would defeat the ultimate villain. But in the end, when it mattered most, they delivered nothing. Backstage politics and Hulk Hogan's ego sabotaged the story at its climax, turning a guaranteed triumph into a legendary failure. The catastrophic booking of Starrcade 1997 didn't just hurt Sting's character, it exposed a fundamental flaw in WCW. The company was simply incapable of getting out of its own way, unable to move past the stars of yesterday, even when the perfect new hero was staring them right in the face. It's the ultimate wrestling story of a promise made, and a promise that was tragically, and for many fans, unforgivably broken. What did you think of the Crow-Sting storyline? Was the Starrcade 97 finish the biggest blunder in wrestling history? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this look back at wrestling history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one.